guys, welcome back to my channel, Ticking Together. As always, the goal of this channel is to provide education about and to raise awareness as to what it's like living with Tourette syndrome. In today's video, I wanted to make a list of things that you, yes you viewer, probably didn't know about Tourette syndrome. These are some facts that I have done some research into and have learned over the years, and I wanted to share my knowledge with you guys to show you some things that you might not know about Tourette syndrome and maybe you should know. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first fact that I wanted to tell you guys is that in 19th century America, there was an Orthodox practitioner named Dr. Landon Carter Gray. And so he was a doctor who was very new to the world of tics. And just a little side note is tics weren't super common in North America. They were more studied in Europe. So Dr. Landon Carter Gray suggested a term for tics in the Americas called Palmis, P-A-L-M-U-S. And this word was his own version of a Greek-derived word used by Aristotle to describe the twitching or palpitation of someone's heart. And so Dr. Landon Carter Gray thought that Palmis should be used instead of tics in America because the word tic had meaning in the French language while not having meaning in American English. And so I think that's a really cool fact that not a lot of people know. Side note, I'm a history major in university, and so I did a research paper on Tourette syndrome, and I found this fact, and I think it's not something that a lot of people know, so I'm sharing my knowledge with you guys. The next fact about Tourette syndrome that a lot of people might not know is that motor tics usually develop a lot more earlier than vocal tics in people with Tourette syndrome. And this is something that is true to me as well. I developed motor tics way before my vocal tics ever made an appearance. And so I think this is also something that not a lot of people know, and I wanted to let you guys know. Another fact about Tourette syndrome, which I feel like not a lot of people know, is that back in the time period of a long time ago, doctors tried to treat Tourette syndrome patients with lobotomies. And oof, that sounds terrifying. They would literally like, the brain. And this is proven to not really work. It actually caused a lot more problems down the line in patients, a lot more insanity, a lot more just really bad things. And so lobotomies were not used anymore to treat Tourette's. The more you know. So even further into the past, Tourette syndrome was thought to be caused by possession by the devil. And this is something that I feel like people are always like, what, how? But if you were a doctor in the time period of like the 18th-ish century, you might not have a valid reason for, hey, why are these people doing these weird things with their bodies or making these weird sounds? Like, there has to be a logical explanation. And so back in this time period, Christianity and Orthodox medical practices kind of merged into one thing. And so doctors often treated patients in regards to their Christian beliefs. And this is History 101. But these Orthodox doctors thought that Tourette syndrome, or tics in general, were caused by possession. And so they tried to treat them with exorcisms or trying to like witchcraft stuff, and it was just really weird. And I don't know why that's what their mind went to, but it was proven false, clearly. And yeah. Another fact, which I feel like a lot of people don't know, is not a super exciting fact, but is the notion that Tourette syndrome is not actually a mental illness. It is a neurological disorder, and there is a very big difference between these two. Another fact which I wanted to let you guys know is that Tourette syndrome can actually lead to super poor impulse controls. And this is something that I feel like a lot of people don't really acknowledge very much, is that people with Tourette syndrome can be ridiculously impulsive, including myself. It's just something that a lot of people don't know that comes along with Tourette syndrome. I'm sure most of you guys know this, but there are kind of two categories of Tourette's. There's Tourette's Plus and pure Tourette's. And so Tourette's Plus affects about over 80% of people with Tourette syndrome. And what Tourette's Plus is it means that you have at least one other comorbid condition alongside your Tourette syndrome. So OCD, anxiety, depression, ADHD, learning difficulties, whatever the scenario is, impulse controls can be affected by that as well. And the final fact for this video is that Tourette syndrome actually affects males 3 to 4 times more likely than it does females. And I find this very bizarre, and I don't know if it's just because females are misdiagnosed or undiagnosed, but that's a fact for you guys. One more little fact is that Tourette syndrome does not affect the intelligence of the individual. Tourette syndrome does not affect the intelligence of the individual dealing with it. And this is something that doctors used to debate as well, thinking that, oh, people with Tourette syndrome are not smart, or I believe the medical term was idiots at the time. And that is not true. People with Tourette syndrome, actually there's been studies that show people with Tourette's have superior intelligence, so like, just kidding. Not kidding, that's a fact. But like, you know what I mean? It just goes to show that people with Tourette syndrome are not stupid, so don't think we're stupid just because we can't control our movements or sounds. I got rice. So there you have it. Those are my fun facts about Tourette syndrome, stuff you probably didn't know. I really hope you learned something. If you did, please leave a comment down below letting me know what you learned, and just say hi. I love hearing from you guys. I would also so appreciate it if you'd give this video a thumbs up. I love getting thumbs up. It makes me so happy. And if you want to stay tuned to educational content, as well as some of my life stories of living with Tourette syndrome for over 10 years now, I would be so appreciative if you would click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay tuned to all of my content. Thank you guys for watching. As always, we're learning together, we're laughing together, and we're ticking together. Bye!